4 generations of the Prius. This vehicle is iconic, but it's losing relevance, especially as the Corolla gets so darn good, especially with the 2023 refresh, updated powertrains. But we know a new Prius is right around the corner, so let's see what the latest from Japan is saying about it, and it's pretty cool. We're over at Best Car Web, Japanese scoop site. They have what they claim to be the new Prius design front and back. So we're going to jump into that. Then we'll talk about powertrains and maybe technology. Looking at this angle of what they claim the new Prius should look like, this thing looks really cool. Now, we'll start with the front and work our way back to see how it's different. Now, we kind of have these futuristic lobster claw headlights, which I feel like it's been played out a little bit at this point, but maybe that's more on the Honda end, and that's more for the taillights. What we have here are really cool futuristic headlights, and we've seen this in other battery electric concepts from Toyota, even in the Aygo X, a B platform vehicle made for the European market. So we've seen these style of headlights from Toyota before, and I expect this to maybe be a theme even with its electric vehicles. If we look at like one of the BZ crossovers that was shown, or I don't know if it was a BZ or not, it could just been an electric crossover that was shown in December, we've seen similar headlights from those vehicles. Down here is a small but prominent grille. I don't think it looks bad. I just really enjoy the front headlights and front badge area. I think it looks really clean. But if this vehicle makes it to production looking like this, I just hope they make this a little bit smaller. Going to the wheels. Now, the Prius is all about efficiency, right? Well, in the past it has been. So these look like 20-inch wheels or 19-inch wheels on a Prius. Is it possible? Maybe. But definitely for the average Prius, like the entry level, the Ecos or whatever, that focuses more on miles per gallon, we're going to see like 16-inch wheels. So don't get your hopes up that these are going to be the new standard wheels on the Prius. The window line looks pretty symmetrical from the front dip right here to the dip around the C-pillar. We have a traditional door handle on the front door, but on the back door, we have a CHR style door. Now the CHR is also on the same platform, the C platform, as the Prius, and even though there's a new generation Prius, it's not going away from the C platform. The C platform is still relevant. And the Prius is actually the first vehicle ever on the C platform. So this is just kind of like the next evolution. But yeah, we have a door handle on the C-pillar area for the rear door. This check mark or design down here, I guess it just kind of breaks up the smoothness, the used soap bar looking design potentially of this new Prius. And as we look at the back, it looks like there is a strong line back here. Now, there are plenty of strong lines on the previous Prius. That is a tongue twister. Since this is a much more smooth vehicle compared to the previous generation Prius, it kind of reminds me a little bit more of the second generation Prius, but way more aggressive. This line in the back seems to stick out a lot more than any lines in previous generations. My wife and I have a third generation Prius. I still think it looks better than the newest generation, but that's just me. Prius Primes look pretty cool as well, and we don't have any information on Prius Prime with this article. This is just mainly on the standard Prius, the mass market Prius. Now, look at this, guys. We have a Toyota light bar on the back. Of course, you're not going to see any visible exhaust tips here. Light bar going across, and just look how less boxy this is versus what we've seen in did it to me again. Previous Priuses, it seems to be more sporty from just about every angle. And this isn't maximizing utility, at least with this render and design, versus the more hatchback focused Prius. Now, will this still be a hatchback? I think so. I mean, just look at the lift back here. I think it should hinge right up here on the glass. I don't see anywhere else where this would lift up, at least on this render. So I think hatch is safe for the Prius, and the Corolla will be kind of that sedan version of the Prius. But I think the Prius there's a good chance it could be a little bit more upscale or maybe more powerful. We don't have numbers on the 2023 Corolla hybrid. Other than the electric motors have been reworked on it, has an all new lithium ion battery pack, and it also has a pretty potent 30 kilowatt or 40 horsepower rear motor on it, which is pretty cool. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from these renders coming out of Best Car. Now we're going to get into the article here. They're saying it will debut in the spring of 2023. Will it debut in the spring of 2023, or will it be available in the spring of 2023? Well, obviously translations here. Look, we've had dealer leaks for the entire roadmap this year, and the new Prius wasn't on it. The new Crown was, but definitely stay tuned for potential more Crown news. We've heard a lot coming from Japan with its hybrid system, potentially taking the playbooks out of the new RXs with, you know, that 367 horsepower 500h setup. I don't know if that's coming for the Crown. In fact, the Crown hasn't been officially announced. But anyways, back to this article here. So if debuts spring 2023, maybe summer of 2023 for the new Prius for availability. They're saying Toyota is going to emphasize practicality on the SUV end. The Corolla Cross, for example, for cars in this segment. Conventional sedans and hatchbacks will be specialized in sports models in the future, and it seems to be that's where this Prius is going. A little bit more driver focused, which I'm all for. They're saying the high efficiency part cannot be surrendered because that is intrinsic to the Prius. Now, these measures here for fuel economy just don't shake out, especially when they talk about the new Noah and Voxy. So the new Noah and Voxy are minivans for the Japanese market. They're really cool. I wish we had them here stateside. But I went ahead and put in their new, yes, we're going to the spreadsheet, by the way. I went ahead and put in the new Noah and Voxy powertrain in here, and it's still using the 1.8 liter. But we're going from 121 horsepower on the current Prius to 138 horsepower, and that's on the all-wheel drive model. I would assume it's pretty similar on the front-wheel drive hybrid models out there as well. I don't know exactly what the battery pack is going to be. If we look at the new Corolla, which might have this same sort of setup, we don't have official confirmation though, but if we look at the Corolla, we know it has a reworked lithium-ion battery pack. And it has a potential for all-wheel drive with that motor in the back. We get a 17 horsepower boost. That's definitely welcome in the Prius. I feel like the Prius has had 121 horsepower since the third generation, so that was 2010. So for 12 or 13 years, we've had the same power output with minor changes on the battery and motor setup. They're saying that it is certain 40 kilometers per liter will be displayed. That just doesn't make sense because that shakes out to be like over 90 miles per gallon. But if we look at the efficiency increase from the previous generation Noah Voxy to the newest one, it goes up by about 20%. And I went over to Fuely to see what the average person's fuel economy is on the Prius, and it's around 50 miles per gallon. So if we just say it goes up by 20%, is a new Prius really getting 60 miles per gallon? I find that hard to believe. I think we're going to see probably 2 to 5 miles per gallon more than what we currently have. So I guess maybe on the base grades it could be a possibility, but I'm just not going to get my hopes up for 60 miles per gallon in a non-plug-in hybrid. This portion really talks about the dynamic driving characteristics of the new Prius as it sacrifices its functionality just a little bit. Still going to have that lift back like we talked about earlier, but that's going to turn off some loyal Prius buyers. Yes, you can now get the Corolla Cross if you want more functionality, but you're not going to get that 50 miles per gallon. In fact, at least according to what Toyota expects, is that 37 miles per gallon for the Corolla Cross hybrid. So it's a big drop off in terms of efficiency, but it also has, I don't know what, 60 more horsepower, 194 to 138 or so. And lastly, a plug-in hybrid is also to appear in about a half a year later. If we say earliest possible case that the Prius arrives or debuts in spring of 2023, then probably by end of year 2023, we'll have the new Prius Prime, which is pretty exciting to think about. I have no idea what they're going to do with it. And that could be like a really high performance plug-in hybrid. Well, relatively compared to previous Priuses. So I'm really excited for the new Prius, especially if it looks like this image that we have here from Best Car. The front and the back looks really cool. It's a nice departure away from the real extra funky design of the Prius. Now it just looks like a more premium, modern, if not futuristic, efficient vehicle. And it looks like a 20-year newer version of the second generation Prius in some ways, which is pretty cool. But I'll see you guys in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video on the new Prius today, hit the like button, subscribe for more Toyota and Lexus news updates, as well as hands-on reviews. Catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.